there, this is Brittany with Hope Tech. Welcome to lesson 6. Today is level 2, part 2. And to go ahead and prep for class, go ahead and just have your device ready with ReadyMaker. And we're going to be working on level 2 today, so you can go ahead and open that up. So agenda for today is ReadyMaker tutorial. We'll do one screenshot. And here's our values: be bold, encourage, and explore. So tasks for today in ReadyMaker, we're going to do die and pit and reload, which we did in level 1 last week. We're going to do it in level 2 today. We're going to talk about timers again, same thing as last week, just in our next level. We're going to do our game over and our one screenshot, and let me know if you have any questions as usual. So let's go ahead and hop on over to ReadyMaker. So I have level 1 open just to show, just talk about really quick what we did last week. We did timers. We have 2 timers. We have a game over timer for this guy here. And we have a timer that when we select, or when we get our little object at the end of our game, our little object will disappear and it'll load us to level 2. We also added game over, and the events that we looked at. We activated level 2, set my BlackBerry, that's my object hidden. Here is our die and pit and reload that Isaiah walked us through last week. Depending on our position on the screen, activating the timer and making game over appear. It would be hidden no more. Yeah, so we did quite a bit last week. Yeah. Restarting the scene if our die and pit and reload timer label happens. So let's go ahead and hop on over to level 2. So in level 2, it's been a couple weeks. What we've done in here, we haven't done much. We've added our behaviors for jump and moving left and right. We added an enemy that when it hits us, we'll die. So we don't want the mouse to eat Cupcake Carl. So we have it right now so that if that object touches our player or our character, then it will restart the scene. So let's go ahead and one thing that Josh found out about that I think is valuable, because what we've been doing to make these scenes bigger is making everything really tiny. And that's the only way we knew how to do it. Josh found out last week there's a way to make our scenes bigger. If that's something you're interested in, you can click on the globe here. And it says camera, and it has like these settings if you're on a phone, PC, tablet, landscape, portrait, and the size. You can make this, you can see my background getting bigger or smaller. So if you want your game bigger, you can do it that way. So that's just something fun. So let's go ahead and work on die and pit and reload. So we're going to go ahead, the first thing we're going to do for that, and this is what Isaiah walked us through last week, is we are going to put in a timer. And that is you hit the plus sign and go into interface and text. Timer. You can put it in the scene. I'm going to, just to test it out. As we go along, make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to name this timer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this timer, go to appearance. I'm going to call this one timer. We'll do this one as, I'm going to call it reload. If you enjoyed today's video, you can like and subscribe down below. You can also sign up for our newsletter at HopeNLC.org. The other thing we need to do in here is go kind of down near the bottom. There's active and it's on. We're going to turn it off. So the reason we have to do this, I don't know if we talked about this last week or not, is if we don't have it active off, we need to tell this timer to turn on and to reload our scene in a certain amount of time. And we get to designate that time. So if we leave this on, I'll just show you what happens. As soon as you play your game, that timer starts going. And that means you only have, I'm going to set mine for 2 seconds. This will only run for 2 seconds before it reloads the game. So what we want this to do is to start after we fall off of the scene here. So I'm going to turn active off on this near the bottom here. And that way, I'll go ahead and play. it doesn't turn on. We're gonna have to tell it how to turn on and when to turn on in the events. But yeah, we're gonna write this event right now so that when we fall, this will start going. So let's go ahead and go to events. You're gonna go to the stoplight. We are gonna make a brand new event. So you can do that either up in the top left or at the very bottom of your events there. And we're gonna say when the player, Cupcake Carl, position is below coordinate. It's like the second robot head. I think that's what it is, robot head, over. It's below coordinate, and we're gonna do -2. And we need to make sure it's -2 because 0 is kind of in the middle. Positive is up on your screen, negative is down. So if we did +2, if we didn't get the negative in there, if we jumped up near the top of our game, it would start this event, and we don't want it to start unless we fall to our doom for eternity. Well, not for eternity anymore. Right now it's for eternity. So make it so we don't fall for eternity. So after we get -2, you're gonna hit confirm. So that's our when. So when Cupcake Carl gets under a certain coordinate on my screen, we are gonna activate our timer. So do timer reload, timer label, set active, and yes. So now we're gonna test this out. So now when I go below -2 on my screen, the timer is gonna start. So let's test that out. It won't do anything else yet, but I have this timer here. So now when I fall down, it should start. There we go, it's working. The mouse is still chasing me anyways. All right, sweet, so this works. And now we're gonna tell it to reload if we're going to tell it to reload if we fall and the timer gets to a certain point. So we're going to do that in another new event. Lots of events today, you guys. We're going to do lots of events. So we're going to do timer reload, timer label, greater than, and I'm going to do 2. You can play around with this. It's seconds. So I'm going to have it count 1 second, 2 seconds, and then reload the game again. I'm going to hit confirm. And for do, we're going to do system, restart scene. I'll let you guys check this out for a second, make sure you got this right. This is going to be, the only thing that could possibly be different here is the name of your timer. That's why I named my timer. So I name it timer reload. We're going to have a timer for game over event. So I like naming these because whenever I go in here, I'm going to have a timer reload and a timer game over eventually. It just makes it easier to know what's what and not get things all confused when we're writing these events in here. So let's hit done. And now I'm going to fall off the edge here. Should go to 2. Oh, starts it all over, even the mouth and everything. I need some more platforms, you guys. All right, so got that done. Let's go ahead and do our object. I'm gonna put some platforms in here really quick. Maybe, let me zoom in. Sometimes there's just too much stuff going on. So let's go ahead and put our object into collect. The end of our game here. I got one more here maybe. Yep. Don't want it by the mouth. I think I'll just delete this one. Maybe that's enough. So in my level 1, I had a blackberry. I'm collecting toppings for my cupcakes. So I'm going to find an object to collect. I'm going to get out of interface and text, go into artwork. I'm going to see if there's like some candy or something. Candy apple, candy corn, candy twist. Let's see, maybe there's like a food category here. Ice cream, some blueberry. Maybe I'll do cherries. This goes well on a cupcake. Gummy bears? I guess you can put a gummy bear on a cupcake. I'll do cherries. I'll do these ones. All right, so now I have cherries. I'm gonna make them a little bit bigger. There we go. So this is gonna be our object to collect. And we're gonna give it an effect like we did last time. So we're gonna click on our object, our little token, coin, whatever you wanna call it. We're gonna click on effects over on the left. It looks like a lightning bolt. Click add effect. I'm gonna make it sparkly. I'm gonna do a shining effect. Let's see if that works. Some of these effects I've found don't work if we make it disappear. But yeah, let's try it out. Circling stars, fireflies. I think that's what I did in the last one. Blue portal. Oh, that's kind of crazy. I like this one, but I'm instead of in front because then you can't really see the cherries there. I'm gonna put it behind. Make it bigger. There we go. And we're gonna turn active off because if we don't, I need to move my cherries. This is another reason to test things out, you guys. This is the second time I've done this week where I put my object behind like the little, like the jump keypad thing. All right, so that's active. We don't want it to activate until we touch it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on my cherries, click on effects, and active is on. I'm gonna turn it off. Now when we hit play, there we go, it's not going. So we have to tell it to turn on though. So we're gonna write another event. So click on that stoplight, click new event. I'm gonna use it on the left. I'm gonna say when Cupcake Carl sensing is touching the cherries. You can use collided with also. I don't know the difference between those yet. I haven't quite figured it out. And then for our second line, I'm gonna collect cherries, select, shiny effects, run effect, and that's it. It might, what's the other thing it could say? It could say set active and yes. Could be one of the options, just depending on what kind of effect you chose. You don't have to do shiny, you can do any of the effects and play with those. So yeah, you should have something to the effect of your player sensing is touching or collided with your object you're collecting, and then object you're collecting, and then your effect, and run effect or active and yes. So let's hit done. I'm gonna move my cherries. So I'm a lazy player here, right here, really close to me. There we go. And he still got me. We're gonna do some events for this next week. I'm also gonna set solid off for this, I think, for the cherries. Let's see. There we go. I like that better. You can do whatever you want though, that's not required. Okay, so let's also see if when we collect this, when we touch it, that it also disappears. So we're gonna go to that most recent event we just wrote. It should be event number 5, where when we touch the token runs effects, we're gonna hit a plus sign there. And we're gonna say the cherries, appearance, set hidden, and yes. Let's see if this works. We might have to do something else with the effects. This works half the time. Yeah. So if that works for you, you can keep it that way. I'm gonna change mine because these effects don't work when I set it hidden. I'm gonna try to change the opacity to 0, -10A or -10A. I don't really know what that means. I figured it would be 0. Let's see what -10A looks like. There we go. And then I still have the effects running. So whatever works for your game, you can do either one. Yeah, sweet. It's working. It's working. I need to do that in my other game I was working on yesterday. All right. So let's do one more thing today. We're going to do the game over like we did last week. So I'm going to use game over again. There's 2 options you can do. Let's hit the plus sign, get out of effects, you can either bring in a text box and then you can write whatever you want when the game is over, when you fall down, when, you know, this little mouth guy or whatever your enemy gets you. Or you can go into artwork if you're just like, I just want something that's already made for me. And there's one called You Lose that you can use right here. I'm going to use a text box. It'll mostly be the same no matter which way you go with this. You are going to either bring in You Lose or your text box. We're going to go to Appearance. I'm going to call this, instead of text box, I'm going to call it Game Over. Just for the name. That doesn't change the text. We're going to get to that in a second. We're going to turn solid off. Otherwise, it'll be kind of like a platform in our game. Collider active off. It's the same thing. It'll interact with things in your game. And then if you have a text box, there's like a little section called text. And this is where you can type in what you want. I'm going to keep alignment at center. I'm going to make it much, much, much bigger. There we go. And then the colors. So you can pick whichever colors you want. It is a gradient, which means it just mixes one color and like gradually goes into another color. So the first color is the top. Second color, do something crazy. It's the bottom there. I like that blue. Figure out like another. There we go. I like that. Okay. So this is a gradient. So this is only available as an option if you are using a text box. If you use You Lose, I'm not sure if you can change the colors unless you tint it, which is an option. Opacity, you can change the opacity if you want. I'm going to keep it at 100. This is why I thought the opacity would be set to 0, because this is 0. But when you're in that event, it's negative 10A for some reason. All right, and then you can change the font size, but when I did that the other day, it kind of like stacked all the letters weird and it wouldn't stay game over in one line. So I haven't figured that out yet. So I'm just going to do this. So I just have it at 12.87 width and height up at the top of the dimensions. All right, got game over. I'm going to stick it right in the middle. I'm on level, but you can see it. Or the You Lose, whichever one you have. I need to move that mouth. I can't really play my game. Or maybe it's just too hard. So we need to make it so that this game over just shows up and appears when we want it to, just like last week. So it's another event, you guys. So click New Event. It's going to be, let's see, System, Runtime, at Scene Start. So we want it as soon as the scene starts for Game Over to be hidden. Game Over, Appearance, Set Hidden, yes. So let's go ahead and test it out and hit done. Yep, it's there. But if I fall down to my doom, you can't see it. So we're going to use that 2 seconds that we have that timer for Game Over to show up before our game restarts again. So back to the events. So let me find it. Okay. So event number 3 that we just did earlier, we've written like 4 events so far in this class. So we are gonna, let's see, Cupcake Carl position below -2. So it says die and pit and reload and the timer is set active. This is, so event number 3 in here. This is where we're gonna have Game Over appear. Let's do this. So we're gonna do Game Over, Appearance, Set Hidden, No, which means it is, you'll be able to see it. So let's try it. Die and pit and reload. There it is, and it'll start over again. Let's also do this. I'm thinking here for a second. Yeah, let's do this for the mouth also. Just really quick in here. So let's see, how are we going to do this? So instead of restarting the scene here in event number 2, yeah, let's go ahead and add another line. And let's also, let's remove this line here, the system restart scene in event number 2, where when our enemy gets us. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start the timer with this as well and make game over appear. So we're gonna plus, we'll have 2 lines. The first line, undo, we're gonna do timer reload, timer label, set active, yes. And then the second line will be, yes, okay. Game over, appearance, set hidden, no. There's too many things in my brain, you guys. I'm almost confusing myself. I feel like my brain's having to work harder than usual with all these events. So, all right, so event number 2, we just switched it basically. And so it should look something like this. So your enemy senses collide with object or touches your player. Now we have timer label set active, yes. And then game over, appearance set hidden, no. So we don't want to hide it anymore. Let's test it out. I just made this up on the fly. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna let this guy get me. And then it should start over. Sweet, it works. It works. Great, and that's it for today, you guys. So one screenshot for today. Let's see which one. Let's do the game over one, event number 6. So it should be the last one on your list. So it's system runtime scene start, game over, appearance set hidden, yes. That just hides game over when your scene starts. And don't forget to save your game. And so there's just that one screenshot for today. I'll show it one more time in case you need it. Event number 6, system runtime scene start, game over, appearance set hidden, yes. And that's it for today, you guys. So hope you enjoyed this. I know it was a lot of code, but I think these are coming out pretty fun. So yeah, and we'll keep working on this next week. Until then, I'll see you later.